Hey there, we have like eons of stories to tell, so if you want to follow us along on this journey and keep up with all the stories that we have putting out, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Hope you enjoy. Thank you. Hey, what's up everybody? Chad is here, and today we're going to be continuing with Flash Rebirth. And this right here, this video is actually going to end Godspeed's little arc, right? For now, right? We're going to get into that later, but it'll end his arc for now. So when we last left off, Godspeed was just beating the hell out of Barry Allen, right? Like he split himself into two, something that Barry can't do because he's not fast enough, and he just like started beating the crap out of Barry Allen, right? And Barry Allen's like asking him, you know, like why did he do what he did? And Godspeed, he's just pretty much saying he didn't want to do it, right? He didn't want to kill these people. He didn't want to kill Mina. He didn't want to kill the other speedsters. He just wanted to be faster. That was it, right? And like while he's talking to Barry, like, you know, he just starts like, you know, freaking out. Like he just gets into like this crazy amount of pain, right? Just like putting him in complete agony. And when Flash is asking him like what, like, you know, if he's okay, all it says is it basically hurts him, right? To be in two places at once, you know, dividing up his speed force, it takes a toll on his physical body, right? So Barry Allen, he takes that chance and literally just blasts Godspeed away, right? And as soon as Godspeed looks up, Barry Allen takes off, right? He dips, he gets out of there, because he knows at this point he can't win by himself, right? He's fighting against two people at the same time who are pretty much just as fast as him, who would actually be faster than him if he was by himself. He's not gonna win this, right? So he takes off to basically recover and figure out a way to win this battle, right? So he goes back to Star Labs, and he's basically telling all the speedsters that are there, you know, they're worried about him. Don't help him, right? Like he has to do it by himself. If they come, there's a good chance they're gonna die, right? Or either get their speed taken away from them, which probably will result in their death, you know. So when he's doing that, you know, he's trying to recover. Godspeed, he takes off and he's like going to look for criminals, right? So in the Central City courthouse, there's basically like this holdup. There's this holdup, and you know, these black hole members, there's like 4 of them. They're holding these people hostage in the courthouse, and you know, the police are outside. They're trying to get them out of there, right? So they're saying that they want Dr. Carver released from prison, and Godspeed, he shows up, right? Because like Godspeed, he's not necessarily, all right, I'll say it like this: he's doing the bad thing for all the right reasons, you know, like don't really matter how you shake it, it's still a bad thing, right? So he's just literally going after criminals, right? These black hole members, they're there, and so what he does is he goes in, and like what he realizes is like as fast as he's moving, he could kill them, you know, like with any kind of touch, right? Like he could literally just like poke them and they'd probably just be knocked out, but he wants to go for the kill, right? Like, so he just like goes in and he just kills all of them, right? He like merges 2 into the wall. This other dude, I'm pretty sure he just gets his head knocked off, and the other guy, he just disappears, right? So when the police go in there, they find out that all these dudes have been killed and one of them is missing, and we find out Godspeed took this dude up to like he took him up this building, and he's like hanging him off a ledge, right? And he's like asking him like who is Billy Park, right? That's the guy that Godspeed killed earlier. Who is Billy Park? Like how do you know him? How is he connected to a black hole and, you know, stuff like that? But this dude has no idea who this guy is. He has no idea who Billy Park is, right? He's never even heard that name, right? And like, you know, when Godspeed's like asking him like you're lying, I know this dude is connected to y'all somehow, you just don't want to tell me, right? And he just goes and kills this guy, right? And Barry Allen, he's watching the news coverage of what August Hart, Godspeed, he just did, right? He's like watching this and he's just, you know, like trying to figure out something to do, right? Because he can't do it himself. So eventually Wally West shows up, right? The black kid Wally West, right? He shows up, and what he's saying is he's gonna go and try to stop Godspeed, because Barry Allen, he can't do it, right? And Wally's pretty much, you know, he's still pissed about Mina dying, and he knows Godspeed did it. He's pissed about that, so he's going out for revenge, right? When that happens, he takes off to try to go stop Godspeed, and Barry Allen, he chases after him, because if Wally goes out there himself, he's gonna die, and like it won't really be hard for Godspeed to do. Like he's just gonna take him out, and that'll be the end of it, right? So when that happens, we actually find out Wally West, like when he's talking to Barry Allen, you know, Barry's talking about asking him how did he get the powers, you know, stuff like that. Wally says, I've been had these powers, right? Like I've had these before the storm. The storm just like brought them out for me, right? You know, just like that. And he actually starts telling Barry Allen, you know, that's how he found Mina, right? Like he went to Star Labs. He was gonna go in, but he didn't actually go in to pretty much just, you know, like try to train for his powers, right? You know, he changed his mind at the last minute. But Mina, you know, she came out and she convinced him, right, to let me train you in private, just like that, right? So after Barry finishes talking to Wally, he actually realizes something, right? He could just do what Godspeed did, right? He could take the speed of all these different speedsters and he can get faster, right? Just like that. But the only problem is, if he does that, he doesn't necessarily know completely if they're gonna die or not, right? Like he has like a hunch, but you know, he has to convince them that that's basically how it's gonna play out, right? So he goes back to Star Labs and he starts telling all the speedsters there that you know, he can take their power away. But you know, when they ask him like, won't they kill us? He says, No, I don't think so, right? Because basically when Godspeed was taking people's powers, they didn't want to give the powers up, right? Like he just ran up in there and he stole it, right? Like he stole it by force. He didn't try to convince them, or they didn't give the powers up willingly. He just went in there and took it, right? So I'm pretty sure if y'all come and like just give me the powers, I'm pretty sure y'all will stay alive, right? Y'all won't go into a coma, none of that stuff, right? So what he says is he's actually going to have the speed divided up evenly, right? Because if he takes it all into himself, it might take a toll on his body, right? Just like it did August Hart when he took the powers of the speedsters in Iron Heights, right? The ones that went to jail when he was like knocked out. So they all start running, right? And basically Barry Allen and Wally West, they're going to take the powers of all these people, right? And when they realize that after they get done, it still feels sort of incomplete, and that's what we find out. Avery didn't run. She still has her powers, right? So when she's convinced to actually, like give up her powers, because she didn't want to at first, like she enjoyed having them, stuff like that. When she gets convinced to give up her powers, Godspeed shows up, right? And he like takes her by the neck. And as soon as that happens, Barry Allen, he just like tackles Godspeed, right? And they just take off. So when that happens, Godspeed, he just starts leading Barry Allen somewhere, right? Like it's just them two running, right? So Godspeed, he's just like taking off, right? And what he tells Barry Allen is they're basically going to somewhere that should have never been made, right? Iron Heights. So with all the criminals that Barry Allen has, like all like the rogues, everyone that pretty much Barry Allen, takes down like on a day-to-day basis, Eobard Thawne, all those people, Godspeed is gonna go and try to kill, right? Because every day that he takes someone there and he doesn't kill them, they get back out and they just do the same thing over again. And Godspeed realizes this, right? That's why he's going there and he's gonna go and kill every single one of them, starting with Eobard Thawne for killing the mother of Barry Allen, right? So with them running, Barry Allen basically has to stop them, right? Like if he doesn't stop him, he's like Godspeed is gonna go in there and literally kill every single one of them, right? Like literally, that's just what's gonna happen, right? So what he's doing is he's trying to like tactically maneuver himself to where he can actually keep up with Godspeed, right? Because Godspeed's way faster, but he feels like if he can actually catch the draft of Godspeed, right? Like being behind him so the wind isn't slowing him down as much, he can actually probably catch up. And what he realizes is they're both connected to the Speed Force, but they're connected in different ways, right? So if he was to touch Godspeed going the speed that they're going, he could probably short it out, right? Like he could short it out, they'll both get zapped and they'll pretty much just like be stopped for a minute, right? So that's exactly what he does, right? And as soon as Godspeed gets up, he realizes Barry Allen's just gonna keep getting in the way. Like he's just gonna keep getting in the way. Godspeed won't be able to do what he's got to do, right? So he splits up again, right? And he just like starts like holding Barry Allen, and he just tries to take off. And as soon as he tries to take off, Wally West shows up and he just sucker punches Godspeed, right? So now one thing that happens here is actually kind of awesome how it works out. So basically they're like trying to figure out how Godspeed works, right? And what Godspeed is saying is like, I'm still faster than you, right? Stuff like that. Like I'm still the fastest one here. And what Barry Allen realizes is you're definitely not the fastest one here, right? You're split into two, which means your connection to the Speed Force is split in two, meaning my connection is higher, I'm faster than you. And what he tells Wally to do is run, and they just start running around in circles around Godspeed, right? And Godspeed, he starts getting scared, right? Because he knows that this right here will basically take away his power. So when that happens, Barry Allen is like talking to Wally West, because Wally West, he's going out for blood. Wally West is going out for blood. He wants to kill Godspeed at this point. He doesn't even care. He killed his mentor. He just wants blood, right? So what Barry Allen is trying to do is convince him not to, right? Like we don't have to kill him, right? We just have to take him to justice, right? Like take him to Iron Heights, let's get him in prison, let him atone for the actions that he's committed, stuff like that. So what he's doing is they're running around and they're pretty much gonna steal off enough of his speed to have him knocked out for a bit, right? So he goes down, and we realize like after they get done running, Wally West has his Kid Flash costume, right? And this just like appeared to him, right? This isn't an actual made handmade suit. This was a Speed Force suit, right? Because of his connection to the Speed Force. So what happens is Godspeed, he gets up, he like knocks Wally West away, right? When that happens, Godspeed, he gets up and he like tries to take off again, right? So as soon as he gets up and tries to take off, Barry Allen, he like grabs him, right? And literally holds him in a chokehold, right? And he passes out. And Wally West, he thinks he's dead, but Barry Allen's just like, no, I didn't kill him. I just like, cut off enough oxygen to knock him out pretty much, right? We've got to get this guy out of here. He's too dangerous. Let's go ahead and take him to Iron Heights, right? So a few days later in Iron Heights, after all this stuff that's going on, right? Like we see August Hart, he's in jail, right? And pretty much Barry Allen, he shows up to him and he wants to talk to him, right? Because after all the stuff that Godspeed has done, Barry Allen, he still wants to help, because he knows deep down that Godspeed he's not necessarily quote unquote a bad person. He is, but he's a bad person for good-ish reasons, right? Like he's not necessarily just a straight up villain, right? Like he has reasons for what he does. He's not just out just killing people just randomly, right? He's killing criminals, people who somewhat sort of quote unquote kind of maybe just possibly deserve it, I guess. I don't know, like it depends on how you look at it. But yeah, like he realizes that's what's going on, right? And you know, he still considers him a friend. So what he did is he pieced together all of the information, the evidence, all that stuff about Barry Allen's brother murderer. And he finds out Billy Park did not murder his brother, right? Basically, August Hart killed an innocent man. So what he's telling him is, he's telling him that he's gonna, you know, like keep working on this case. He's gonna figure out who killed his brother, pretty much, right? That's basically all he's telling him. So what August Hart tells him before, you know, like before Barry Allen leaves is, Black Hole isn't done, right? Like we thought Dr. Carver was the head of Black Hole. That's not true at all. He was more akin to like a general, right? Like the leader. August Hart knows exactly who it is. Like he knows exactly who the people are, what they're trying to do. He has all this information, right? But he's not going to tell Barry Allen, right? So Barry Allen, he leaves and he's thinking about this. He doesn't know if he's telling the truth. He doesn't know if he's lying, because he could just be trying to mess with his head, right? You know, stuff like that. And from there, we actually go to Wally West, right? You know, he's telling his Aunt Iris about, you know, him having speedster powers, you know, him being Kid Flash, you know, being connected to the Speed Force and all that different stuff. You know, like he's saying that he actually fears that he might turn out like his Uncle Daniel, right? You know, he was a bad guy, he was a criminal, you know, stuff like that. We'll get more about him later. You know, we'll talk about him and, you know, some stuff that he had going on. But for now, you know, he's like, Wally West is just, you know, he's scared that he might turn out like that, you know, but and Iris is just like, you know, telling him that he won't, you know, like he has a good heart, you know, as long as he tries to do the right thing and, you know, like stays on the right path, you know, he won't turn out like that, right? You know, he'll be a good guy, you know, he could actually be a hero, right? You know, he shouldn't really fear about that kind of stuff. And we actually find out that Barry Allen is actually training him, right? You know, he's being his mentor the same way that Mina was, just like that. And we find out like while Barry Allen is just like standing there, he's just like watching Wally West work out, right? Like he's training, like he actually hears the voice of Mina behind him, right? And he turns around and there's nothing there, right? And we're gonna end this story here. That's the end of the Godspeed arc. You know, it was pretty good. I actually love Godspeed. He's like one of the best Flash villains ever. Like, dude is amazing. But yeah, this is the end of his arc for now. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, leave a like if you enjoyed this story. I love this story. Leave a like if you enjoyed this story, and I will see y'all in the next one.